Fellas, we got it right. The second time we got it right.
Success.
Yeah, there was a new StreamYard feature where you could just start with your intro and you don't have to queue it up like manually. And we thought we could use this new feature, but hey, those that have jumped back in, welcome to another exciting stream of Who's Fighting. We have
Who's
your
fighting?
LT in the house. Kam
Yeah,
G.
what up?
Fellas, what have you been up to?
You go?
Like, what have we been doing? I was really just trying to take a minute to think, like, what have I been doing?
Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Shoot, man. I had an eventful Friday. Concluded my work day with the faculty versus the basketball teams. It's like an inaugural kind of like a midnight madness at the school that I work at. And so very proud to say that I won the first ever skills challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I thought I was gonna come out and hit some half court shots. I didn't hit a single one of those. But
what was the age?
I moved down to the elbow, and it was like automatic, just wet. It was like, so yeah.
What was the age range of the competition though?
So it was both middle school and high school. So it's we're gonna K through 12, so it's pretty dope. Yeah. And then from there I segued. We lost to the middle school boys by like a point.
Oh
man, they got out running, and we had our lineup was questionable. So I expeditiously exited the building and went to the Wale concert.
Hey, good move. You can save your knees there too.
Oh yeah.
Mess around with them kids.
How was that Wale concert? A lot of
no complaints, man. A lot of classics. Day one fans, so it was nostalgic. Take it back to the mixtape era. I came in late, so I was in the very back, and kind of slithered my way to moderately to the front, and enjoyed it. That's very dope. Much so.
You had a dope Friday and Saturday. How about you, Kam G?
Oh man, just me being in the gym. That's the usual for me. And what's funny, I was Friday. I was telling a story about a college teammate, and then one of my college teammates just walks in the gym because I told him where the gym was, and to pull up on me, I'll be at the gym at this time, and never confirmed. So I'm in the middle of telling the story about a college teammate, and one of my college teammates walks in the room. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I always much respect to see guys that you were, on the gridiron with. So that was a pretty cool moment, for the week. And man, we just getting ready for the next one, man. Trying to get back on the board and figure out where we get to the next fight, and got some amateur competitors going into 2025, trying to get them ready. So that's what we're looking like over here.
Nice.
That's dope. And I saw on your socials, man, big 2 months for baby Cosmo.
Yeah, we had 2 months. We celebrated 2 months. Yeah, man. I love these days because I spent a lot of time with him today, so that's always fun. Learning that he's a Mavs fan. Had Red Zone on earlier. He's like, I'm kind of it's whatever. But when that Mavs come on, he's locked in. Locked in. So he's his father's son. So.
Salute. But talk about the Mavs. How far do you think you guys are gonna go this time around with the addition of Klay Thompson?
Right now they spanking Orlando, but Paulo Banchero's out indefinitely. I was looking forward to that matchup because I really want to see how we're doing. I really think the only team that really can beat the Mavs is themselves. I think if they fall in love with the 3-point shot, that can be the downfall. Because I think if they just take what the defense gives them, move the ball around, they have a lot of guys, man. They're really deep. And I know they don't get the national recognition, but they're really deep. So just watching them so far, the games they lost, I feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot. So if they can avoid that, I still feel like the Celtics is the favorite. Like I don't like them, but they play a brand that's really hard to defend. Everybody can dribble, pass, and shoot, and that's the name of the game.
Come of age too.
Yeah, man.
Come of age. Yeah, you know, we knew it was gonna happen. You know, the Tatum and Green are gonna be, you know, they're gonna be in their prime soon, and they're gonna be a problem. Same thing I see with the Mavs right now. I like your two big men, and I know this is not a basketball show, but just because he brought up the Mavs, I like PJ Washington and what's his name, Lively, the guy with the hair.
Yeah, from Duke. Yeah, smart, man.
Lively's gonna be a good player in the future if he's molded right, because he has some intangibles that I can see, you know, in the future. He has some things that he does that are not in a, you know, on a score sheet, but just that energy that he brings to that team. I think it's gonna be good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But back to what we do best. Talk about fight, combat sport. This is what you guys come to see, and luckily today we already have 2 people tuned in via YouTube, and a few other people, and we've propagated this show into many places. We have it on Facebook. It's also live on Instagram and YouTube. So you guys tuned in to see our thoughts on what happened in the combat sports world. We'll start with boxing. And this Saturday in New York, Verona, there was a title fight. And this fight is bittersweet for me, I have to say. And maybe in the green room, Kam Gee and I talked about it a little bit. We had Forster versus Conceicao. What was your, before I give my opinion on this, I heard a little bit of what Cam thinks of this. LT, what's your take on this fight?
Oh God, you would ask me. Man, this is like part 2, probably twice as good as the first one. Man, I'm not disappointed either way. Judges see it. I think O'Shea showed that he was a sharp puncher, you know, slick puncher. Conceicao, calculated, very economic with his punches, very economic. He looked to be the stronger guy in the ring, Conceicao. But both of them improved performances from the last one. You know, this is one of those things where in boxing, if you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And I'm not 100% sold that O'Shea beat Conceicao, you know, for the belt to switch hands. Am I making sense right there?
Yeah, right. No, we get
who had the belt. Who had the belt the first time around? You
know, Foster.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah. Then Conceicao won a fight that a lot of people view that Foster won. And to me, this fight was just more lackluster. I think their styles are just, you know, styles make fights. And it was, you know, some blows in the action. You can see the skills, but the styles being so similar, I don't think made for the most entertaining fight. But like those fight fans like to study the game, it is something to take from that. You know, Conceicao's giving us some interesting fights in recent memory. We gotta applaud him being busy. Gotta applaud that, because that's what we want. That's what we always asking for guys to stay in the ring. But I'm looking forward to seeing Foster, you know, go on and face a new opposition and seeing, like, you know, what's the improvement been, because this was a 115-113 split decision. So that's as close as you can get. So outside of having a 9-9 round, you know, making 114 or a knockdown. So yeah, man, I was happy to see the rematch. I thought Foster won the first fight, so I just feel like it's righting it wrong, so to speak. But I agree with LT. Like, I didn't really see him take the fight, and that was really it.
Yeah, I would second what you just said. I watched the first fight. I thought it was daylight robbery. It was just, I thought
there was some shenanigans
that one. And and I thought he was coming back in blood for this second.
Yeah,
I was excited. It was like a storyline was like, yo, I got robbed. Now I have to make it without a reasonable doubt that I am the junior lightweight champ for the WBC. I am the guy. And when I watched the fight, it was like, the Spider-Man meme of when they point at each other. And I'm like, I'm seeing them really shadowing their combinations. And like,
yeah,
they look good, but high guard is up when they're expecting each other's combinations. And I'm like, oh, this is boring.
yeah.
I'm not seeing a game of chess.
Yeah.
I'm seeing fighters that are just so familiar with each other that, yes, they're trying to figure each other out, but with the slightest of margins, yes, Foster won, but was I really entertained? I don't think so.
You know who?
Yeah, you're like,
You know who I compared Foster to? And this is I'm not a huge I haven't studied him a lot, but I would compare him to a Jamel Herring. Maybe slightly more sharper. He didn't look very strong to me.
yeah.
And I'm not even just talking about punching power. I'm talking about just overall
moving.
Oh, yeah, so for him to say that he wants to move up in any kind of weight class or anything and start in opposition,
They may not be the best.
Fun fact: Robson Conceicao also he fell victim to a unanimous decision to Shakur Stevenson. So
very
lackluster to compare. So
another lackluster fight, though.
There's not too much. There's not too much to write home about this fight, but it was for a legit belt. It was for a WBC, junior lightweight title. So, hey, salute to Foster, and on to the next one. So in that same card in New York, we had Raymond Muratalla. Am I saying Muratalla? The announcer said Muratalla. And they kind of missed the L with the Y. I don't know if that's an accent thing, but the
announcer Spanish. Double L is the L-A. L-A.
Hey, he meant business, whatever.
Jesus, I was going to say Jesus. Yeah. But did you hear the story about Jesus? Jesus is a part-time, he does construction. I don't want to say the wrong word, but he's a blue-collar guy who was fighting with my man, Ring. Yeah, was it construction? What the announcer said? Because he's from Mexico. He's going to go back to work because he got dismantled, and they're like, hey, go back. That announcer was kind of the guy was speaking was kind of wrong for that, but he kind of say he's going back to his job.
That's the spirit of the sport, though, man. A lot of the the old fighters were metal workers,
blue collar workers,
bricklayers. So I had a lot of respect. It was just, man, dude, it's a 1-2 and a kind of a. One of the ones that got him out of there was that wide hook following with the cross.
Bro, he had so much heart.
Very basic, yeah.
Jesus Perez had so much heart. He got knocked down so much. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, the ref. That was a great. Sometimes you gotta applaud the ref when they make the correct stop.
Yes, bro. It was outclass. It was outclass match. Second round, demolishing. And apparently, this Maratula guys, who they looking at to fight this Shakur or
So let's clean it up a little bit. So the opponent was Jesus Antonio Perez Campos, because there's a lot of Jesus Perez out there. But he actually faced the likes of Jojo Diaz, Brian Norman Jr., Alexis Rocha. I mean, he's a measuring stick, to put it short. I mean, got a record of 25-6, 18 KOs. He's a measuring stick, and Muratalla made him look like slight work compared to anybody of those other names that he's faced. And so that's why this single performance is what impressed me out of everything else this entire weekend.
Because it was simple, it was strong, and he meant business. Post fight, he is like
he cleaned up,
stone cold. He like, I'm ready for whoever, like all the names.
Oh yeah,
and you see a sharp 1-2, you feel like that travels around the world. You know what I'm saying? Like getting the guys clean out of there. But we want to see it. But he did look physically strong, and he seemed to have that mentality of I'm ready. Like this is my time to really push.
And he's got a chip on his shoulder, so it's like
you
don't see the arrogance isn't there. It's just the self-confidence, the self-awareness, and he's a man on a mission right now, and that's what I like to see in the sport of boxing. I can get behind somebody like that.
Absolutely, I felt the exact same way.
It was domination in the location.
Yeah,
my man was not playing around. He went in, professional work, got work done. What's next for my guy? What's next for Raymond Maratelli?
He got to get the big fights.
The big fights.
So
could he fight Shakur? Another fighter that I like. Actually, he's gonna fight next week or the week after. Keyshawn Davis, the whole Davis family. Nice.
So, let's backtrack a second because he beat Tevin Farmer, and then Tevin Farmer went on to get a title shot. I believe is what they were talking about. He's lined up to fight William Zepeda So that's what we.
Zepeda is tough.
Knockout,
but
knockout king.
Yeah, Zepeda is tough. I mean, he could fight a Frank Martin before Zepeda. Like, geez, you're going to Zepeda? Frank Martin just got done with Tank. That would be a great one for me. A Frank Martin. I don't know. I might see because I'm like Zepeda. You going William Zepeda?
But look here.
Yeah, any of those top names at that weight class.
Listen,
any of the top
I don't think
class.
Shakur wants that. Shakur calling somebody else out right now. We'll get to that in a second, but this guy right here is visibly dangerous. So I can see why people is ducking him.
Yeah. Hey, salute to you, Maratella. I'm saying it right, Maratella. But
I think
on that same part,
the world will know soon.
There will know soon. On that same card in New York, we had Bryce Mills versus Mike O'Hearn Jr. I don't know what to think. Every time I see Mike O'Hearn Jr. fight, that man is always taking an L. I mean, respect to you, but he's filled in before. What do I have to say? What would I say about this fight?
That was a
fifth
round
stoppage.
fight. I didn't get the chance to tune into the 8 round.
Yeah. It was one of those.
It was on TV.
Ones before. Yeah, it was on TV. This was one on ESPN Plus, by the way, that day.
Yeah,
yesterday. So, I mean, I'm not too familiar with Bryce Mills. Are you guys too familiar? Have you seen him fight?
No, he looks like a prospect. He's kind of a shorter guy, 5'8".
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not too short, but I mean, I know a lot about him.
He's a New Yorker. Not New York, but upstate New York.
I think it says Liverpool. Okay, I think it says he fights out of Liverpool, whatever that means, wherever that is. I guess. Okay.
Bryce Mills fights because I thought he was from Syracuse.
Probably the same neck of the woods.
Yeah, but hey, he won by TKO. Yeah, and we have a lot of fights that happened yesterday, so we'll be running through a lot of these pretty quick. But this one here that we are just about to jump on was a Vegas DAZN fixture. We had Floyd Schofield versus Rene Tellez Giron. And this one here was war, to say the least. There's a lot of history with this. I'm not history, but post-fight things that happened with this. I mean, pre-fight and post-fight and in-fight things that were happening in this fight here. But let's start with, I didn't know Schofield was from Austin, Texas.
Right. So that's one of the things I got excited about.
I know I did.
I've been trying to find like the scene here, and so this guy pops up on Golden Boy, and I'm seeing the lead up to this, and I'm like, okay, let me look into this guy. So apparently he was born in New Jersey, so he's got Jersey roots, in which nobody in Austin is from Austin. So
right.
So okay, I got a little excited going into this, and that got me a little invested to see what this kid can do. So
yeah, it was a war.
I get Sean Porter vibes from him. Yeah, he's gonna show up to fight. I mean, I don't know if he has enough skill to top a Shakur or a Tank. He's definitely likable. You definitely tell he loves the sport, and he fought a tough fighter that I don't believe anyone's put down.
I can see why Golden Boy, why this would be a Golden Boy ticket. I don't know does he have a promoter per se, or I know it's kind of hard to tell because it's the zone Golden Boy, but I can see why an Oscar De La Hoya will get behind a kid like this because he's got that brown complexion, he got the S curl type thing going on up top, so I can see the marketability behind it. You know what I mean? Man, the kid's dad has like this perfect grill. Like I don't know, is it some veneers or what? Shannon Sharp is
probably.
So you say
probably
pretty much you say Oscar De La Hoya is an aesthetic merchant. Now that's why he gets he looks for aesthetics in his fighters.
Hey,
that works for him.
Ryan Garcia,
it worked for him in his career, and it's worked for him.
He was called Golden Boy. I mean, not for the Olympics, but also because he always stayed clean.
You know what I mean? So,
talking about the fight, it was a war. It was a Girona guy was not playing. It was
very tough fight.
He got knocked down in the 11th round, I believe.
11.
Yeah, it was kind of a shot to the back of the head, but a knockdown nonetheless.
And so I was only able to catch the highlights of this because I'm here. I love it though. It was so much.
He was outside.
It was so much.
He was outside.
So much, but it was so much to watch over the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was invested in the top rank. That was the easiest thing for me to get access to. So I was able to see the highlights of this. And you know what? What I will say is, where he lacks in skill, he does make up in the entertainment value. He's got a dad like Bill Haney. I mean, in the sense that he's a mouthpiece. I don't think he really he doesn't really need it, honestly, because the kid is a personality of his own.
He's less toxic than Haney, I would say.
Yeah. He's probably too big for his britches right now. He's probably barking up the wrong trees a little bit too early. But you got to strike while the iron is hot. There's that aspect of it.
He's been calling out the big dogs. Yeah. He's been calling out. One of the big dogs actually responded during when he got knocked down, and the big dog said that, hey, that's the curse of calling my name out. Focus on what you got going on.
What I will say is Shakur went on live with them. I don't know if y'all see that. So Shakur is another Jersey guy, right? They went on live, and Shakur was like, you got pillow hands, and they was like, "Who you call it?" Anyway, I can see that being a good fight. Honestly, obviously Shakur is world class as far as skill goes, but a guy like Schofield, aka Kid Austin, will put himself in the. He puts himself in the way to fire. So it's like,
right. That's why I said, give me Sean Porter vibes. He's gonna come. He's gonna be in your grill. He's gonna give us as the fans an entertaining boxing event.
I think that's actually a good measuring stick because, we'll find out what kind of power Shakur actually has. We know
we got a hand injury.
Yes,
another hand injury.
Yeah,
and not his first, if I can recall.
You see what I'm saying? It's a good measuring stick.
Yeah. So if you can't keep this guy off of you with your power, then you're in for a rough night. Even if you get
a rough career, you might.
Yeah.
Rude awakening for real.
it doesn't allow you to move up. But a guy like this, he's young, he's hungry. I like him barking up those trees because you start to run out of fights. Some of these guys aren't going to fight you. Then you have to go find guys, these Mexican style fighters that have no problem with taking these type of fights.
Yeah, and then you have some real problems on your hands.
Yeah, and it's like, how many of those fights do you want to take before you face off with the big names, big money fights?
Strike. So I get it, man. Strike while the iron's hot. I mean, maybe
he's only 22. Let's put that in perspective. He's only 22.
Yeah.
I think he's still developing. He's a fighter. He has at least 8 years of trying to figure this thing out until you become.
We don't know that. We never know that.
Yeah.
We never know that.
Yeah. I feel like 22 years old, it's like, what? I don't know what you can be waiting on. Right? You're 18-0. You're trying to fall on a big stage, and you're calling out the top guys. There's only a few fights to be made, so I mean, you can see him in a ring with likes of like a Frank Martin. If that's what I'm saying. If you don't get that big fight, and then you got I just blame
Keyshawn Davis.
There you go. Keyshawn is up
You could do Tevin Farmer. You could do Tevin Farmer. Do Tevin Farmer. How about Tevin Farmer?
Tevin Farmer's probably about to. He's going into the Riyadh season, and we'll see how he comes out of that one. Because like we just talked about, he lost to Murtalan, and now you got this opportunity against Cepeda.
But Farmer,
it's big money.
But so
you could do Abdulazov, but that's dangerous.
So I thought you anyway. I'm not gonna go there. Backtracking a little bit, is Tevin Farmer like is he associated with Crawford?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I don't, but boxing,
I don't think so.
But we look at boxing politics. You look at boxing politics and see, okay, that's the connection. Eddie Hearn, Riyadh season. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's why certain fighters are gonna get the shot.
Get the
I think Tevin Farmer, he's a Philly key. He's a Philly guy. So
obviously, Murtalan is top ranked. So top rank's kind of taking a back seat right now to that overseas money.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Tevin Farmer is a person that could build a resume for a young fighter right now because he's how many times is Tevin? Is it 2-time or 3-time?
I think it's 2-time.
2 times. So that's a name by itself. Abdulazav. Am I saying his name? Abdulazav. That's dangerous. Zabeda, is it called there's some dangerous fighters in that you just don't want to, when you're 22, to lock horns with. What's his name? Zabeda or Frank Martin is dangerous too, but hey,
Cepeda.
Cepeda.
Don't sleep on Frank Martin.
Frank Martin is dangerous.
Yeah.
He's
dangerous,
Devin Haney is still dangerous.
Yeah, because really and truly, like when I hear about a 22-year-old fighter who's climbing up, I always think about what we did to Big Baby Anderson. Like you put him in Bakoli, you locking horns with Bakoli, like cut your teeth a little bit. Don't go for that guy who's a boogeyman. I mean, that's a risk to take, but I guess Eddie Hearns and all those people were ready for him. They thought he was ready for that. I mean, I also understand heavyweight division is a little different from the lightweight division, but I don't know. It's just
we can't be hypocrites though and call for the big fights and then try to guide these careers at the same time. It's like
right. It's all in the spirit. It's all in the spirit of the best fighting the best. There's still some fights to be made at that top of that division, but we can say he's not far off. And then these guys are having trouble getting fights. Shakur and Tank are having trouble getting fights.
Right.
And
there's already going to be clamoring on Tank's next fight as far as the level of competition.
Right. So and let's put it in perspective.
That's already in the story.
We'll put it in perspective, right? Because at the, where do you put it? At the top, you have your championship level fighters. All right. And then you have, that's the elite. You have the contenders, right? Then you have the gatekeepers, right? You have the gatekeepers underneath that contender, and then underneath that you have the prospects, and it's all about
then the
getting in where you fit in.
The names are there, and you're right.
There.
And you can have at this point names that are currently journeymen facing, as they get to the lighter stages of their career. So top guys having trouble getting fights. There's some young guys hungry out here looking for fights. So before these guys get phased out of the division and these young guys can have their opportunity, it's hey, let's see these guys be great. If there's a loss in the process, we at least want to see a good performance, tough guys, good entertainment, and that way we can learn who these guys are.
But no cherry picking.
Yeah, man, come on. Come on. We know somebody gonna take an L, but we already know it's respect, nonetheless.
Facts. Another fight on that card was correct me, fellas, if I'm saying the name wrong.
No,
Bektemir versus Bektemir. I'm gonna say his last name. Bektemir Melakuzovic versus Stevens. Did I say that right? Bektemir Melakuzovic versus David Stevens.
I don't think I caught this one. If I did, I didn't know. Nah. Was this on the zone?
This was a DAZN fight.
Okay.
To Schofield. This ended with a victory from Stevens. It was judge decision. We won't spend too much time on this one because I'm more interested about the women's fight.
Yes.
That happened that night. Something that is going to be monumental, historical. But salute to Stevens for winning that fight. I didn't catch that because there were so many fights happening at that time. Kam Gee, did you catch that?
Nah, this one I did not get a chance to. Queued it up today to watch it, but baby boy had other plans.
I hear you. Let's go directly to the title fight. Basti's sister, Sebastian's sister, Gabriela Pandora.
Hey,
when are we going to? We don't pay attention to a lot of these divisions, but isn't she like the GOAT right now in that in that division?
I guess after last night, I guess
youngest ever undisputed champion, and she's been doing it. She's been doing the damn thing for a long time. Salute to Gabriela Pandora.
Fighting out of Palm Beach, Florida. The ripe age of 22.
22.
5'9".
Tall.
69-inch reach.
All
right.
Youngest ever undisputed champion. Flyweight. Youngest ever undisputed flyweight champion. Man, we have to put some respect on her name. She beat Gabriela Celeste Alanes. Am I saying that right?
Real quick.
Celeste Alanes.
Gabriela Celeste Alanes. Alanes. Okay. She's 5'9", fighting at the flyweight division. She's got to be towering over every competitor.
Oh yeah,
she's in there with, just like her brother.
You see exactly. You see what I'm getting at, and both of them have the frame to move up.
So, I would like to see that at some point. But being the youngest undisputed champion, you got to tip your cap to her. They got something in those Fundora waters. Do we know anything about their family, their parents?
They're farmers. I saw that pre-fight.
Pre-fight,
they're natural. They have a farm, and she was like feeding goats and stuff like that, and chicken over there in Southern Cal, I believe. Maybe
that's a great life for a fighter.
It says they're out of Palm Beach, Florida.
Florida, sorry. Listen, Florida, not California. Oh, sorry. Maybe I'm wrong.
Think about Palm Springs.
Something that I started with California people. Oh yeah, you've been talking about Basti or Sebastian. What's his potential? What's his potential like as a fighter? He didn't have the best going out the last time he fought, but prior to that, what's his potential like?
That Tim Tszyu victory doesn't look as good. at this point seeing Tim Zoo's last performance.
Oh,
I mean, the clash, elbow to forehead came because of the height difference.
Height difference, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I really would just love for him to just fight in a division where it's more of a comparable height, because that is a risk of every fight he has at that 154. He's gonna be taller than everybody that he fights, but as you go up weight classes, guys get a little bit taller, so the risk of elbows kind of goes down. But when you got guys dipping under your shots because they're 4, 5, 6 inches shorter than you, it's just a risk, and it kind of soured that victory for me the whole fight. I feel like we were in for a really good fight. Loves to mix it on the inside. So as far as potential, it's just really if he decides to use his attributes to lengthen his career, because getting in wars at his young age doesn't bode well for boxing. So
he's fighting at 154.
Mm-hmm.
And then just go a couple fights back, and everybody's chiming in. Even the big dogs are chiming in and like, this ain't fair. You're fighting against a created player, So I mean,
you gotta go to that body. He want to be on the inside too, which is crazy.
And it's crazy.
He doesn't look. I'm not mad at. Look, I'm not mad at 154 because there's some big guys that come down. And there's some legit competition there. And so if you want to come down to the 154 and potentially face somebody like Terrence Crawford, who's an all-time great, okay, then let's see where you actually stack up. If you want to, if Spence comes back, who's in the rankings now, if Spence comes back, let's not have recency bias. We haven't seen Spence in a couple years, but he did solve a lot of problems that were like great boxers. Like Spence, he looked one-dimensional against Terrence Crawford, but he beat a lot of great boxers up until this first defeat. So, hey, 154 is no slouch. Fundora versus Charlo. There's a lot of great names there for the fight. For us to really decide. Okay, I mean, stick around long enough for Boost. Let's see.
Hey, tall.
Boost is like 6 foot, right? Or like 5'11".
Yeah, long reach.
Yeah, he's
5'11".
So,
he going out there. Fundora family is doing their thing. 2 champions in the family, man. How are the parents feeling right now?
Wow.
Full belt. Gabriella being the first youngest full belt holding undisputed person in that division, the featherweight division, and that's salute to her. That's monumental. Anyway, moving forward, in Birmingham, England, there were some fights that happened. I didn't catch all of them because they were on overseas.
You get that Sky Sports app.
Yeah, but I did catch boxing Twitter, and I caught the Liam Davis versus Shabazz Masood, and it was a great fight. Very back and forth. It was a 12-rounder. And this was for the IBO Super Bantamweight title. And Shabazz won that. Did you guys catch any of these highlights? Because I caught a bit of the highlights on this one. So.
Not on our UK fights on this week.
Nah, I have not figured out how to make 3 cards fit.
So I caught highlights. It just looked like it looked like it was a back and forth affair, and Shabazz won by split decision. The scorecards that made that decision happen was 16-12 and 15-13. And
pretty handily.
With Davis being given the last round, which was considered to be kind of like controversial because they thought it was going to be a unanimous decision type of win. I didn't catch the whole fight to measure the scope of affairs, but it looks like it was like the split decision really was not the tale of the story. But I'll be catching up on that fight. What I'm more interested in is the women's fight and the fight after that, which is Chantal Cameron versus Patricia Bergsholt. If you remember, Chantal Cameron was the lady that fought Katie Taylor. And, you know, they had a good fight. It was a great fight, you know. And right now, if you know what's going to happen here with the Tyson versus Jake Paul, we have Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. But just pulling it back to this fight, Chantal Cameron won this fight in a dominating fashion. She won it by unanimous decision, and she's hoping she gets the winner of Serrano Taylor.
Hey, and then fun fact, she only lost that Taylor fight by majority decision. So
it was a very, very, they locked horns and they kind of like, yeah, it was.
Wait, she beat her majority decision before that. In May.
Yeah.
So remember, she's looking for. So it's a possible trilogy.
The winner of the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor.
Oh my goodness,
it's gonna happen here soon. So
and before that, she beat Jessica McCaskill unanimous decision in 2022. So we ain't talking about the slouch here.
Yeah, Cameron is the real deal. So she's waiting for that fight. I mean, she's 33 years old. I don't know how that translates to how
you gotta get it in.
You know how long to wait for that fight, but she wants to see the winner of that. Let's talk about Amanda Serrano and also Katie Taylor. I think those are some of the goated people. Those are one of the best fighters. I think in one of the best fighters in women's history. I think, but we don't take value in that fight as much as that Tyson Jake Paul. I hate that it's the one that is pushing this, but that should be the main card. To be honest, I really don't care about Tyson versus Jake Paul. That Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor is what I want to see, to be honest, because of their pedigree and who they are as fighters.
That's the appeal of having a sideshow like I didn't forgot his name. What's the boy's name?
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
That is the appeal of having him put on these fights, though, because you're going to get more eyeballs. He's so polarizing that you're going to be like, oh my God, let me turn and watch this fight because I want to see him lose. And in the process of that, you see some of the greatest women fighters of our era.
That's all versus Terrence Crawford, right? Really,
they don't necessarily need him, but they will achieve the thing of getting new people to watch them fight. Yeah, because they did Madison Square Garden. That was electric.
They fought last time,
It was one of the most electric fights I feel like I felt like on TV, like outside like a Mayweather Pacquiao, you know, that type of build up, or a lot of the older like Mayweather fights where it was just huge, you know. But it was a very electric evening, so they don't necessarily need him to be put on, so to speak. But I do think that a lot of people are still discovering that side of boxing, and that we have some really great women competitors over there. So I'm looking.
And when they the ones that broke the record for the first women fighters to headline and sell out Madison Square Garden, or am I?
I believe so. It was phenomenal.
Tatiana Ali,
at the least.
Layla Ali. Sorry, I say Tatiana. Layla Ali, or what's her name? Lady from Michigan. Carissa, she sold like by herself, like a whole, or was it the Serrano Katie Taylor that did that?
I'm trying to find the specs on that Madison Square Garden.
I believe didn't she? I mean, Clarissa did pretty good overseas though against who was it? Is it Savannah Marshall?
Savannah Marshall, and she was the main card too. Yeah.
So
I wonder if that was an all women's card.
That was all women, yeah.
The Madison Square Garden. So it was the described as the biggest women's fight of all time. This was back in 2022. It was also named the Fight of the Year by Sports Illustrated that year. So huge implications with that fight. Historic outcome. So
Layla Ali has never really sold. For some reason, I thought Layla Ali was a big sell because of her pops.
Well,
it was. You go watch those fights; they were not most crisp, clean boxing you've ever seen.
Okay, so she was not really telling. Okay,
It's just big,
He was fighting.
big power.
It was, and those were like hype names versus names, like was it coal miner's daughter. Was it like she fought Frazier's daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the sport has evolved on that side.
Yeah,
for sure. But you have to give her flowers for the, carrying the
contribution.
Yeah, being a pioneer. Yeah, at least setting that first break. Yeah, but hey, salute to Chantel Cameron, and we want to see you get the winner of Serrano versus Taylor. I think it's gonna be fireworks. I can't wait to watch that. Puerto Rico, the UK people, all these are fighting countries, and they're gonna show up. They're gonna support their person, and I can't be more than proud to support that card rather than the side show, which is Jake Paul versus Tyson. But hey, it is what it is. If you want eyes to see a sport, you got to do that. This right here was an interesting one. If you remember when we put up the our notes in our shared notes, Ezra Taylor didn't have any opponent, so I guess Crispus showed up on the day of the fight.
Bullmeisters.
Yep. And
that's a hell of a name.
It felt like a feeling. It felt like a feeling, and I think I posted a reel of him fighting, dude. And in my mind, I thought that was AJ fighting for some reason. Ezra Taylor.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
That's Ezra Taylor, light heavyweight, prospect out of the UK. I've been hearing a lot of noise about him, and I finally got to see him fight. He's good. I mean, he's good. He fought a bomb.
This guy's his opponent's from Latvia. He's apparently a kickboxer.
Yeah, he's a bum. He came in last minute. And that was the main card too. That was a main card because Ezra Taylor fought, and then Chantel fought, and then Liam and Shabazz was the next one.
And that reminds me too, on the top rank. This is a Hispanic gentleman. I don't know if he was Puerto Rican, but heavyweight really caught my attention because his hand speed. But he was fighting another MMA guy turned boxer. So it's a theme there.
Yeah. Man, Mandem was looking for
combat
30 years old, man.
He was looking for protect.
Yo, they gotta come on with it.
For the light heavyweight, and we had the show, I guess, must go on. But salute to Ezra Taylor. I'm watching how I hear the mamas and people talking and all that jazz about how good you are. But hey, we'll be watching. And I think that's it for our fight recap. We covered 3 different fights that happened in 3 different locations. That's kind of impressive, fellas. What do you think? We covered this.
We're gonna have to start. We're gonna have to start being more strategic about the cut.
I'm like, yo, did you watch all these fights? Nah.
Oh my goodness,
crazy! It's a lot of fights to watch. But now we are going to dive into the world of mixed martial arts. There was a bit of a fight night, UFC fight night that it is. We had Brandon Moreno versus Amir Alabazi. Of course, Moreno, former UFC champion, went back in there, fought, won by unanimous decision, and he went home the victor. The next fight was Aaron Blashfield versus Rose Namajunas. Rose, you know her. Rose, she's been in the sport for a very long time, but she unfortunately lost by unanimous decision. I won't give you the scorecards, but we're just running through these pretty fast so we could get into some discussions and then also conclude the show. But the next fight was we have Brenson Ribeiro versus Shao Machado. That was a split decision. Win was to Branson. Then we have Jasmine Jazadolfo. You guys have to help me with these last names here. Jazadovicius versus Arian da Silva, and of course Jazadovicius defeated da Silva by submission, and it was a choke submission. And let me see here. We have Dustin Stolk-Volz versus Mark Andre Stolk-Volz versus Andre Bayalt, and it was a KO knee kick where Dustin won that fight. And I won't even go into the next one, but that's it for my coverage of the UFC. To be honest, I didn't have enough bandwidth to even watch all those fights, but I thought we'd cover those and talk briefly about them.
Yeah, I'll be honest too, man. I tried to put a couple TV screens on.
Yeah.
And it was a fail. It was a fail, man. So I'm gonna have to do, because I was thinking, man, I'm gonna do a TV screen, I'm gonna do my laptop, I'm gonna do my phone. Nah, man. The disconnect from the Wi-Fi on the phone.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I might try a hotspot. I don't know.
But how often are we getting bombarded with that many fights at this time?
But with really, we need to be more intentional, I guess, with just talking about what we want to talk about. It's our show.
But I mean,
we could cover other sports. But
I mean,
too much, and we could delegate and be like, nah.
Yeah, but I mean, you never know. You never know. We think, we got O'Shake at the top, and I mean that was kind of a bust to me. You know what I'm saying? So you never know.
115, 113 across the board. So it just
so as we transition to the ending of the show or the conclusion of this episode or stream, what are you excited about? Because I know next week we have some bangers. We have on Friday, I think Keyshawn Davis fights, and then we have Philly's finest Boots fighting, and after that we have Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. And something that we could have talked about was the December 14th Tank versus Roach. Fellas, where do you want to start with about these future fights that are lined up for us?
I mean, I want to see Keyshawn. I want to see, how the progress is going in his career, because at this point, I feel like he thinks he's at the top of that division. And if you are, then, you'll go out and have a outstanding performance, which they're dubbing the homecoming. I think ESPN is doing a promotion about
in
that.
Norfolk, Virginia or something.
Yeah. Hometown. So, that's the most immediate one that we have. Boots having a rematch. I don't know how y'all feel about that, because this is Friday, Saturday, right? Man. Friday we got Keyshawn. Saturday we got
Boots. Yeah.
Boots.
So I think Boots is gonna come out and make short work of this guy. I think he's coming to make a statement and say, "Stop wasting my time. I've been here, done that." And he's gonna probably knock this guy out in 2 at the most, and then he's gonna call out his next shot. They're talking about him going to 154. I know Eddie Hearn wants him to stay at 147 and unify. There's some mixed noise right there, but I think he's already got his eyes set on Madrimov at 154 to come in and make a statement as far as the measuring stick. So I'm getting a lot of mixed signals in regards to that. I know he wants to unify, wants to become undisputed at 147, but it's just about how long is that going to take, and the politics of boxing. And so, I mean, he can, and like I said, this guy can move any way, and I think he's somebody that he's going to attempt to cut Crawford off at the pass, because he's hunting the big dog, and it right now it's a lot like Floyd Mayweather chasing Roy Jones.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Roy Jones is like, I don't need a Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather need me, and Roy Jones is moving up all the way to heavyweight. And you see what I'm saying? The difference is that Floyd Mayweather wasn't big enough to chase Roy Jones. Boots has the frame to chase greatness.
Yep.
So
he has the size, the frame, he can carry that weight. And we see the power, we see the skill, we see the IQ.
And and that's what when I look at pound for pound, which we had this conversation before. When I look at pound for pound, that's what I look at, the ability to move through weight classes, and does your ability translate?
Yeah, and credit to Boots. We've been watching him on a scope for like at least 4 or 5 years. He never disappoints. Never disappoints.
He had one lackluster performance. If I can find the opponent he had, but other than that, like, yes, you're correct.
He's very consistent.
But it's like the smart kid in class. He needs to be challenged.
You don't try too hard.
You know what I'm saying? He needs that challenge. I want to say it might have been was it last year? I can't find the opponent.
He got touched up more than we expected him to, but at the same time, he's trying to make a statement. Yeah, I remember that fight. I was a little disappointed.
Were they fighting like outdoor?
Was it the first fight with the Karen, his current opponent? Was it that fight?
The
Ukrainian.
Yeah,
I feel like it was within his last 4 fights, but nonetheless, he typically puts on a great performance.
Good show.
Amazing skills. He's fighting in Philadelphia once again, so he's got that hometown crowd behind him. He's had a lot of fights in Philly.
Yeah,
if I can recall. So
he's their pride and joy.
Yeah, it's time, man. We just want to see the best fight the best. It's time. We want to see Boots on that big stage.
Yeah. With that being said, I think it's only right he steps up, and I don't know who. The generic answer he wants is Terrence Crawford. I think that bus is gone.
I mean, hence the comparison I gave you.
Yeah, it's gone. And, maybe Canelo. I don't even think that even could match that matchup.
Nah.
I don't know.
Listen, shoot for the stars, land on the moon. If you chasing Terrence Crawford, you might luck up and get Errol Spence. You might get a Charlo. Okay, you see.
Right.
So
go and get it. Come on, Boots. We're trying to see you out there. Let's see.
We might see Boots Fundora. You never know. So
about talking about Boots Fundora. Yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but what weight would they be fighting again?
54.
54.
Okay.
54. Got to be at 54 right now.
Okay.
There's some fights. I know Strap getting into the fights coming up. We got the December matchup with Fury
Usyk. That's again Riyadh season. This is fight. What number is this? Is it 2 or 3?
Riyadh takeover. This would be
rematch.
Rematch, yeah.
Yeah, rematch.
But it's not for undisputed because Dubois has a fight or has a belt.
The IBF. Yeah, they took the IBF. That's how IBF be doing funny stuff. They've done it to a couple.
Yeah, so exactly, and so it happened to Terrence Crawford at 47, which is why Boots has that belt, and then it's also about to happen at 68. So whenever we get the Beterbiev and Bivol rematch, it won't be for undisputed.
Won't be undisputed. Honestly, the way I stand as we lead to lead on to that fight, I think Usyk is gonna knock out Fury, but as we build up, that may change in my opinion. But yeah, I think Usyk is gonna do
some interesting things behind that fight. We can talk about it later.
Yeah, but fellas, did we already talk about Pink versus Roach? December 14th or Should we?
I think that's supposed to be moved to January. I think that's getting moved. That's moved to January because we would be seeing.
I think that date was. I think that date was like a tester. Like they wanted to see what kind of interest they could generate, and then they were always going to fall back on the doubleheader with the Benavidez. So I think that's what that was about. They wanted to see how far they could stretch the bread, but they're going to go for the guarantee. And so instead of the two for one, they're going to go with the guaranteed doubleheader co-main. You get what I'm saying there?
Yep. Events for 2025. Yesterday, Frank Warren made it. Sorry. No, I was saying, talking about 2025.
I'm sorry, they're still showing box rate. December 14th.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Oh my God, the lag.
Yeah, I hear you. We'll see.
Yeah, so I was saying 2025 events. Yesterday, Frank Warren made it very, very clear that AJ won't be getting his rematch with the boys. They're on to bigger and better things. This by itself is a great discussion that we should have on another episode where break down that school of thought and this play that Frank Warren is doing, because you know he's the big boss over there. So.
I'm with it. No rematch. Move on.
That's what he said. He's like, I'm the A side. Joshua can't tell me no. We don't have any rematch clause. Relax. But anyways, fellas, it's been another great stream episode of Who's Fighting. We talked about everything from boxing to mixed martial arts. It's only right that we conclude it. LT, Kam Gee, who's fighting?
Who's fighting?